listeners, and welcome to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. We have a great show lined up for you today. We're actually going to be talking about relationships. Over the last year, I've been doing a little experiment, and I've been saying to people, you get to ask me one question completely for free. And it's been a very fascinating journey. I've had well over 500 people take me up on that by now. And one of the most common questions I get is about life purpose and career. But the next most common question is about relationships. So people are very concerned about, why am I here? What am I here to do? But also, well, and who's going to be coming with me on my life journey? So I wanted to talk about some of the common types of questions I get asked and some of the common types of responses that I give. And I also have a top 10 list of surviving a breakup to share with you as well. So what are the common questions that people ask me? Probably and I've had over 100 relationship questions, and half of them have been some form of, when will I meet my partner? When will I meet my soulmate? So it's all the single people out there who are feeling lonely, who are yearning for companionship and yearning just for that special someone to be in their lives. Now, of course, one of the things that I don't do, and it might surprise some of you if you are listening for the first time, is I will not predict the future. So to all of those people who write to me and say, when will I meet my partner? What I say to them is this: you create your own reality. You create your own life. You create your own opportunities in life. And so really, when will you meet your partner is entirely up to you. The only things that will get in your way of meeting your partner, of manifesting that special relationship into your life, are your beliefs. So if you believe that you are unworthy, if you believe that you are unattractive, if you believe you are not good enough, if you believe that you are stuck with being lonely for the rest of your life, all of those things are going to impact your ability to create what you are wanting. Because we carry these beliefs around with us kind of like an energetic signature in our energy fields. And so whatever we create in the world, we create through whatever we are carrying in our energy fields. So if you have been through breakups in the past and they were painful for you, and you didn't process that pain, then you'll be recreating your new relationships through the same pain, and you probably end up recreating some of the same circumstances. So actually, what I'm telling you is really good news, because it puts the power completely back to you. If you're out there and you're single and you're wanting to meet somebody, then look inside yourself for anything that you're storing in there that would say this is something that you can't have in your life. So that's the number one question that people ask me. When am I going to meet my soulmate? And after that, some of the other common relationship questions I get are people who are deciding whether they should stay in a relationship or whether they should leave. And people who are deciding, is this the right person for me? And in a way, that interests me very much as well, because that's what that's saying to me, is that there are a heck of a lot of people out there who really don't know their own minds, who really don't know what they want, who really don't have a gauge for, is this mostly good and am I mostly happy, or the opposite? Should I stay or should I go? And then, of course, there's another one that I often get, which is, does he really love me? And I must say, I do get questions about relationships from men, but it's usually the ladies who are asking, does their partner really love them? And another one is, when will we get back together? Will we get back together? So a relationship is already broken down and the person is hanging on to that relationship, wanting to know if they'll ever get back together because, they have some idealized notion that will solve all of their problems. Another common question that I get is, why can't I let go? Why can't I let go? Why am I still hanging on? Why is this, something I can't move forward from? And another one as well, which is a bit less frequent, but I've had it a few times, is my partner faithful, or was my partner faithful? And finally, another couple of questions. And whereas the women tend to say, well, does he really love me? The men tend to say, well, am I wasting my time here? And then finally, I get probably the least amount of people asking relationship questions, but these are people that are on the right track actually. What step stops me manifesting a relationship? So here they are starting to own their power. In some of the other questions, it's evident that people are feeling that they are victims, they are not in control of their lives, that that external forces are creating their relationships. Like, will we get back together? Will he come back? Like it's a fateful thing that will happen. Whereas the truth is, you create your own reality. So a good question actually is, what stops me manifesting the relationship that I want? Because then you're stepping up to your power and you're owning it, and you're owning your own issues and you're working on them. And then another question that I sometimes get is, why do I repeat unhealthy patterns in my relationships? And so I guess what I'm sharing with you what people ask me, but I'm also wanting to help you to see that you create your own reality. You create it through your thoughts and your beliefs and whatever you've stored in your energy field. So, like I said, if you've stored pain, if you've stored harsh memories from past time relationships and you haven't processed them, and you're not consciously addressing them, you will continue to create your reality through them. All right, so before we go to the break, I'm going to read some surviving a breakup tips. And I got some of these from Psychology Today, actually, but I've kind of added my own flavor to them. So number one, cry as much as you want and as much as you need, because crying helps you release the grief and the pain. And some people, will push that down, push the grief down, push the pain down, try to avoid it, try to divert their attention onto other things so that they don't have to feel it. But believe me, you don't want to do that. You want to face your pain and you want to process your pain. And I'm repeating myself here again, but if you don't do that, you'll recreate your future relationships through that pain. You'll hold on to some of those same belief constructs and they will be reflected back at you in the next person that you are with. Another tip is deal with the situation as it is in present time. So don't hang on to the idea of how it used to be, and don't hang on to the idea of how love might return in the future, because all you have is the present moment. The present moment is your reality. The past is a thought construct. It doesn't exist anymore. And the future is also an idea and a thought construct. So deal with the situation in present time. Tip number 3, ask the universe or your guides for help in healing yourself, and for help in just making the situation as easy for everyone involved as possible. Tip number 4, and this is actually a whole bunch of things together, but choose which ones that you like and work for you. Meditate, exercise, pray if you pray, watch self-help DVDs, take actions, take steps to focus you on healing yourself, to focus you on moving forward. And all of those things that I just mentioned are precisely the things that can really help you move through your pain. And of course, tip number 5 is seek out emotional support. Whether it's from your friends or whether you go and see a therapist, find somebody to talk to. Now, a couple of these might sound a bit contradictory, but it's about getting all of this in balance, I guess. Find things that you love to do to fill the hole, to fill the gap that has been created by the lack of the relationship. And really, this is meant to help you not to spend too much time moping at home alone, moping about things. But, of course, you've got to balance that with not distracting yourself so that you're not dealing with the pain. And another common way that people will often mask the pain is to go into a rebound relationship. And, of course, that might not be the very best idea, because you haven't taken the time that you need to heal the pain that you are going through. And then the next one's let go of feelings of unworthiness, unattractiveness, and not being good enough. So sometimes, relationships can be messy and people can say things that they don't mean. So let go of any feelings that have been triggered of unworthiness and unattractiveness and not being good enough. Trust your feelings and follow your inner guidance. So listen to yourself about what you need. Listen to what your body needs from you to feel better. And then finally, as you've gone through all of your grieving process, ask for what you want. If you're wanting a new relationship, ask for it and believe that you can have it. Believe that you can create it. Trust that you weren't put in the world to suffer. Trust that your life is going to be can be fantastic, and that you can have love in your life again. So take the time to process your feelings, and remember, we choose our reality as well. So we can choose to go through things in pain and suffering, or we can choose to go through change in a more positive way. So this is Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. Everybody, and welcome back to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. So it's that time in the show where we open the lines to your calls. Here we go. Hello, do we have a question?
Actually, what we do is we have a couple of email questions.
Great.
For you. And the first one I have for you that came in was from Laura. And Laura says, I would love a reading from you about my current level of consciousness and need for relationships.
Okay, current level of consciousness and need for a relationship. That's an interesting question. So I am going to take a look at that for Laura. And if you are tuning into the show for the very first time, then I will just explain that the way that I do this is I go into a very light self-induced trance, and in that altered state of consciousness, I'm able to tune in to the energy of the person asking the question. And it doesn't matter at all where they are. They could be in Australia. So I'm working here with subtle energy. So bear with me. I'm going to tune in to Laura, and we'll take a look. So she wants a reading on her current level of consciousness and need from a relationship. And that's kind of an interesting question. I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that, Laura. So I'm going to take a look at you, and maybe rather than current level of consciousness, the main spiritual growth cycle that you are in. And then we'll look at you in the context of wanting a relationship as well. So I'm seeing you be in a spiritual growth cycle that has to do with moving towards living a more joyful life. So it looks to me like you've had some knocks in the past, you've had some difficulties, and you've had some challenges, as we all have had. And I'm seeing that you have reached a level of spiritual consciousness where you realize that whatever it is that happened in your past was created by you. You weren't an innocent victim. You were a creator, whether it be an unconscious creator. So I'm seeing that you're taking moves to be more conscious about the life that you are creating for yourself. I'm seeing that you are making moves to be careful and watch your thoughts, and you are open and focused on healing yourself and changing yourself internally. So that's the first thing. It looks like you're very much on your path, and you're wanting to change the way in which you create your reality so that you can create it through joy. And what I'm seeing is that you set some limits on that, because there are some beliefs that you are holding that you're not quite seeing yet. And so it's sort of like you can go so far with that. There are certain things where you can accept that and accept that it's in your power to create things. And then there are certain things where you are still believing that it's something that's outside of your control. And I'm seeing the relationship category falls into that, something that is not under your control, because it involves another person and it involves another person's free will. And so I'm seeing that that's what's tripping you up. But if you realize that if you make a list of all of the things that you would like the relationship to bring you, whether it, loving support, fun romantic dates, hugs, kisses, whatever it is, make a list and then send those thoughts out to the universe, and also embody them by allowing yourself to feel how you imagine you would feel if you already had that relationship. Because what that does is it puts out a frequency and a vibration, and the universe and the law of attraction will match frequencies, will match what you're putting out, and will bring to you what you are asking for. So there are so many people out there in the world, and there is not just one right person for each person, but there are many people that can be a match for you. So if you just put out the core things that you are wanting to get out of this relationship, and then have faith in the universe to bring that to you, then there's nothing stopping you creating what you want. So I hope that has helped you, Laura. If it hasn't, you can write to me at info@drlesleyphillips.com. Hello.
Hello, I've got a couple of questions that have come in. I don't know which one I'd like to give you first. I'm going to give you this one. This one's from Cindy. And Cindy asked, what is the best approach or actions to take right now to create the reality I desire of meeting my true love and becoming a mother?
So what are the actions that she can take right now to fulfill her desire of being in a relationship and becoming a mother? Okay, so folks, I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I did with the previous caller, and that is I am going to tune in to Cindy's energy, and then we will take a look at what can she do. So bear with me while I do that. What's the best approach to create the reality I desire? Well, you know, I've already answered that in answering Laura's question. I gave if you were listening to that, I gave some tips about how to create your reality, and I shall just reiterate it, but you can, and the same things apply whatever it is that you're wanting to create, whether it's becoming a mother or whether it is attracting a mate. So number one is make a list or think about all the things that being in a relationship and being a mother will bring you. In terms of the feeling, how will you feel? How will that fulfill you on a feeling level? And then you can imagine that you already have what you want, so that you are embodying those feelings, so that you are setting your system at the frequency that you wish to attract to you. And the law of attraction cannot fail but deliver what you want unless you are putting some things in your way of that. So the rate at which you will receive what you're asking for, the rate at which that manifestation will occur, is proportional to the amount of doubt or uncertainty that you have. So if you're harboring any beliefs about that this is not possible for you, that they will impact that manifestation process, and this is where your inner work comes in. So it's a case of searching inside yourself and figuring out what it is that you believe about this that might be holding you back, and releasing it and letting it go. And this might be a good juncture for me to just do, I've taught this before on the show, and I think I'll teach it now, because I want to give people, we've talked a lot about pain and moving forward from pain and releasing pain, and I want to give you all a technique right now in how to do that. This technique is called grounding. So all you have to do is sit with your feet flat on the floor, your hands resting in your lap, and close your eyes and take a deep breath in and out, and in and out. And then if you become consciously aware of an energy center that exists near the base of your spine, tune in to this energy center near the base of your spine and start to create a flow of energy that goes from there all the way to the center of the earth. If you want, you can imagine it's like a waterfall or a laser beam, even a rope or a well, whatever visualization works for you, even a tree trunk. And this is going to do a few different things. One of the things it's going to do is help anchor your high vibration energy into the physical world. So if you have a lot of dreams that are not being manifested, this can help you with that, because it starts to bring those dreams down into the level of physical reality and physical manifestation. It makes it safe for that high vibration to actually come in to the physical realm and come into your body. But the second thing that it does is if you imagine that's a stream of light, or like a laser beam, or like a waterfall that's cascading from near the base of your spine to the center of the earth, then you can see that you can start throwing anything that is unwanted down that flow of energy. So you can actually pick apart your pain and throw it down your grounding. I had one lady who just collected her pain in buckets and emptied the buckets down her grounding cord. Or you can feel where you're storing the pain in your body and just simply imagine it melting away and dropping away and flowing down your grounding. So whatever works for you, that's a quick tuition in grounding. And if anyone wants a link to me talking you through a guided meditation, I actually have one on YouTube, but I also have an audio as well. You can email me at info@drlesleyphillips.com, and I will make sure that you get those links so that you can listen again and again how to ground. All right, so we are going to take at least one more question before we go to our next break. So I'm going to open it up again to callers. Hello.
Hello. We've got one from an email message that just came in from Nancy.
Great. What does Nancy want to know?
Nancy asked, my husband passed away last year. Sorry to hear that, Nancy. I often suspected he was cheating on me, but he was always said no. Now that he is gone, we cannot fight about it, so I'd like to know if he did in fact cheat. Then I will forgive him and carry on with my life. I need closure, and he needs to be able to admit and set himself free.
Oh my goodness me, that's quite the question, Nancy. Well, certainly we'll take a look at that for you. So bear with me a moment. I am going to tune in to you and this question of yours. Okay, Nancy, so I'm taking a look at you, and I'm taking a look at... Well, it's really interesting what I'm seeing, and I'll just talk about what I'm seeing, and maybe it will start to make sense as I talk about it. But I'm almost seeing that this concept is... it's like it's round your neck, like a noose. I'm seeing a noose around your neck, and... it's almost like, it's a weight that you would like to let go of. It's hanging around you, and so let's see. And that noose is also a symbol of being a victim. So I'm seeing that there's a part of you that's asking the question: am I a victim? Am I a victim? Was I victimized? And so, and it's almost as if I was to say, no, he didn't cheat on you, you would go, oh, thank goodness I'm not a victim, and I was loved and I am worthy. And if I said to you, he did cheat on you, you would go, oh, the pain is real, it's all true, I'm unworthy, I'm unloved, I'm unlovable. And so I'm seeing that the answer to this question has strong consequences on you and how you feel about yourself. So let's help you with that. Let's see if we can find a core issue that we can help you release and let go. Because I'm seeing that the real issue actually is not forgiving your husband. The real issue is about you and your self-worth. And that if I told you he didn't cheat on you, you would not address the questions of self-worth, you would cover them up again. And so, regardless of whether he cheated on you, let's help you with your issues about self-worth and see if we can find... And I'm seeing that the origin of those issues of self-worth actually predate the relationship with your husband. I'm seeing that the issues of self-worth come from your childhood, and that's not unique to you. It's such a very common thing with all of us, actually. Anyway, let's take a look at what this might have been. Well, one of the incidents is where you felt some shame of some kind. And in particular, and this is, I guess, sorry to share this over the air, but I mean, people who call in, we use anonymous names, so to protect people's identity. So I'm seeing again, and it's a typical thing that probably most of us as a kid went through. But I was seeing a time, when you wet your pants, and that you were feeling very shameful and very unworthy and very unlovable. And it looks like it happened in a place that wasn't safe. So it looks like it might have happened at school, where the people weren't as caring as they might have been, and where the other children weren't empathetic either. And this is just one incident, and I'll use it to illustrate. And if you examine your past and your childhood, you'll probably find many more of these. And what we are needing to do is de-energize and remove the emotion from these memories. And there are lots of techniques that you can use to do that. Unfortunately, we don't have time to teach them all on the air. So you can contact me at info@drlesleyphillips.com, but that technique I already taught you today, which is the grounding one, you can simply, as you bring up the individual memories, be releasing the emotions that you have tied up in them of shame and not good enough and being unworthy down your grounding cord. Okay, and I am going to just check in. You don't say your husband's name, but I'll see if I can get a connection with him. And of course, from his perspective now, in a way and again, don't take this the wrong way, but he's amused. He's amused because he's living from the perspective that number one, we're all connected and we're all love and we're all lovable. And also just our perspective of what's of right and what's wrong. Because really what there is here on planet Earth is experiences that help us expand our consciousness. And that experience is helping you expand your consciousness because it is helping you to reclaim your truth about who you really are, that you are lovable and that you are worthy. So, I am going to complete that there, and I'm going to go to a break, and I hope that has helped you. I know I didn't say yes or no, he did or he didn't cheat on you, because what I'm wanting to do is help you deal with what the core issue inside of you that is being triggered by this event. Ori, do you have another question for me?
Yes, I do. Everybody seems to be a little shy this year, 2015. So the question's from Anne. And Anne has asked, maybe I've been avoiding the possibility about a relationship in a sense of sharing life's joys and adventures. I'll read that again. Maybe I have been avoiding the possibility about a relationship in the sense of sharing life's joys and adventures. I love doing things solo. Oh, yeah, see. I love being with my friends, but what about that special person?
Great. Okay. So I will take a look at that for Anne. And if you're just tuning in, I'll explain. So as a professional intuitive, the way I do my work is I read from trance. So I'm going to enter a very light self-induced trance and tune in to Anne. And her question, which is about loving her life, loving doing things solo, loving spending time with her friends, but also what about that special person, that special relationship? So let me see, let me take a look. Well, one of the things that's interesting here, Anne, is that I am seeing that what you said about loving doing things solo and loving being with your friends is true and not true at the same time. So I'm seeing that there's one level of that is a mask, that is a coping mechanism, because I am also seeing that you do have this yearning or desire to be in a relationship. And I'm seeing that part of it, again, is there's a two-sided thing here as well, because part of it is genuine and part of it is because of expectations. And when you think about it, there are so many expectations that we're bombarded with about being in a relationship from the moment that we are born. Really, there's mummy and there's daddy and they're in a relationship. And really, you know, whether it's everywhere around you, in the movies, on the TV, in advertising, we're given this message that, you know, in order to be worthy, in order to be lovable, you need that special other person in your life. And so I'm seeing that there's a part of you that has bought into some of that programming, and there is a part of you that hasn't. There's a part of you that's covering up the part of you that's bought into that programming, and then there's a part of you that genuinely does enjoy going solo. So it's quite a complex little gestalt going on within your psyche there, Anne. And so let me just take this further then and see. Yeah, and I'll just go into. I hope you've been listening to the whole show, because we've definitely talked about manifestation and how to create what you want, including that special relationship. So what I'm going to do, if you didn't tune in, you can listen to these shows again on civl.ca. So if you caught the show late, then go back and listen to the earlier part of the show. Because what I'm actually going to do is I'm also going to just take a look at some of the pain that's being covered up, because that's what will help you the most, is to help you know that that's there and help you release and let go of it. So here we go. Let's see, what is that about? Your relationship with your father is coming up. Your relationship with your father and some disappointments that you suffered with respect to that relationship with your dad. And again, I don't have a lot of background information on you, but I would guess that there may have been a divorce, but there's certainly something to do with the father figure, some level of absenteeism, or not being available emotionally, or not being available in the way that you would have wanted him to be. And therefore your coping mechanism was to be independent, was to say, oh, well, I don't need that, I make my own fun. But again, I'm seeing that the I don't need that and I make my own fun is covering up the pain of wanting your father's love and wanting to spend more time with your father and wanting your father's approval and wanting your father's attention. So for you, that's the place to look to start with, is your relationship with your dad and how you felt abandoned or not seen, and how that you built a coping mechanism to say, well, yeah, I don't need that. I don't need that to be happy, because I'm seeing that is playing out in your adult life. And part of the reason that you don't manifest a relationship is because you're running off of that program. Well, I create my own fun and I don't need that because, I can be completely independent. So it would just help you to take a look at that and loosen up some of that, and that will help open you to invite that special somebody into your life. And so we have about 10 minutes left in the show. That means we can definitely do one more question. We might be able to do two. We'll see how it goes. Hello, do we have another relationship question?
We sure do, and this one is quite interesting. Actually, it's actually quite unique. So, I was told by my psychic. Okay, I'm sorry. I was told by my psychic my marriage will be rough and lead to divorce, and that I have bad karma that will give me a tough, difficult life going forward. Is this all true? As a young woman, I'm scared and worried. Is it possible to do something now to prevent it from happening?
And what's the lady's name?
Her name is Leanne.
Okay, thank you. That is a unique question, isn't it? All right, so I'll take a look at Leanne and her question of being, gosh, and it's interesting, and I don't know how, who's out there listening to the show. Some of you might be skeptics, some of you might not be. But just like in any profession, there are many people out there. And, in inverted commas, psychics sometimes do get a bad name. And especially when it comes to doing things like this, like predicting the future. And you'll hear me say many times, I will not predict the future. I will look at the energy as it exists right now. Because the only thing that truly does exist is the present moment. Anytime anyone looks into the future for you, what they're doing is that they are moving into a field of probabilities, and they are choosing from the field of probabilities one possible direction that your life could take. And it might be based on the most likely one based on the current circumstances, but that's why predictions can go wrong, because you have free will every step of the way, and you are making choices every step of the way. And the other reason why I won't predict the future is it takes your power away. And this poor lady is an example of that. That, she's received this prediction that you're going to have a rough marriage, you're going to get divorced, and that you have bad karma and it's going to make you have a terrible life. And, all of that is simply not true, and it's simply not a definitive truth. But here's the other unfortunate thing: if you get somebody who is susceptible, and what you can do is program them. So that psychic you could program the person that's coming to you for a reading and make them believe so much that this is going to happen to them that they create it. So there are a lot of ethical guidelines that are very important for people doing this intuitive kind of work. And unfortunately, there are many people out there, and some of them have not received appropriate training by far. So that's my first comment on that, Leanne, is that I don't agree with the way that psychic, she wasn't really helping you. I don't agree with her approach to working with you there. So anyway, I'm going to take a look at your energy in present time, and I'm assuming that I don't know if you are married or you're not married. I think that you're not married, so you're just looking at this future possibility. So let me take a look. So I can see, Leanne, that this has not had a positive impact on you. It's lit up a lot of pain, and it's quite disempowering. And I'm seeing actually one of the reasons that you're writing in with this question is that you're on a growth cycle to reclaim your power back for yourself. So I'm seeing that you're really wanting to take charge again, and because you create your own reality. You do not have to create an unhappy marriage. You can create a happy marriage. As I've been saying all evening, that's down to you, and that's down to you healing yourself, and as you have emotional pain, allowing it to process in the moment that it arises, and not stuffing it down so that you create your reality through it. So in short, my answer to you, I think one of the things she said is this true? No, it's not true. It's not true. No future time prediction that anyone can give you is ever 100% true. You cannot ever say that, because you create your own reality from the present moment.
Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to another Unlocking Your Truth podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips. For more information, go to our website at drlesleyphillips.com. That's drlesleyphillips.com, where you can ask questions or send her an email, and there's many free gifts on there for you as well. Come back again.